All right. I'm going to review quickly what we learned last week, and then I'm going to go over some new stuff. So as you look at this, at the compound, the first thing you have to determine is if it's only got two elements. And then you have to determine, is the first element hydrogen or a metal or non-metal? Now, I've covered very well what to do when you have the first element is a metal. Now we need to determine what to do if the first element is hydrogen. And with one class I've covered this, with the other one I haven't. So let's go over that now. When I look at a compound and it says HCl, well, I look at that, and hydrogen is a nonmetal, but it's a special nonmetal. So when we look at the compound, we have to say, oh, that hydrogen tells me it's an acid. So as soon as I see hydrogen, I say acid. As soon as I see acid, I say hydrogen. Those two go together. So acid and hydrogen go hand in hand. So if it says acid, if I give you a compound that has the word acid, like number 46, then the first thing you think is I've got to put an H. So that's the way that works. So hydrogen and acid are hand in hand. So when I see the H, I say acid. And I might as well go ahead and write the word acid, because that's going to be part of the name every time when the first element is hydrogen. Doesn't matter if it's another element's hydrogen, just the first one. So my rule says, and I look at this area of page 3, it says to add the prefix hydro, and then name the negative part of the compound, which is the second part, CHLORIDE, chloride, but I changed the ending to ic, ide to ic. So I'm going to go back and put ic, hydrochloric acid. Two elements, hydroic acid. All right. Another thing we used last year that seemed to work, hydro means no O. O is oxygen. So my acid there does not have any oxygen in it. There are different rules if you have oxygen in the acid. So hydro, no O. Hydro, no O. All right, so let's do another one. I'm going to put it up here, and then I'm going to pause for a minute and let you try to do it. All right, so let's do HI. Now I'm going to pause and give you time to do it. All right, two elements. Hydrogen is the first one. So acid. As soon as I see hydrogen, I write acid. Then I'm going to, since there's two elements, hydro something ic acid. And the something is iodine. So I-O-D-I-N, no, it's not I-N, iodic acid. Iodic acid. All right, now let's reverse this, and let's say we have hydrosulfuric acid. As soon as I see the word acid, I think H. Now my center thing says sulfur, so that's going to be S. All right? We never ever forget about making sure that everything adds up to be 0. So I have plus 1 minus 2 equals 0. Does it? No. So I have to then do something to make it equal 0. So I put a 2 by the 1. So hydrosulfuric acid is H2S. H2S. All right, now to do this one. I'll pause while you do that. Again, as soon as you see acid, write an H. Then I see hydro, that means I'm going to have no O, and the bromide, because the ick took the I's place. So bromide, so HBr, plus 1 minus 1 equals 0, and since it does, it's balanced. I'm done. All right? Now the next one, you have to follow the rules that are here. Pay attention to the rules. The first rule says, name the positive nonmetal from the periodic table, not the yellow sheet. Periodic table, not the yellow sheet. And then it says, never use mono as a prefix for the first element. Never mono for the first element, but if it's some other number of, that first element has 2 atoms, then you would use di. The second element is always, has a prefix. So when I look at a compound like CO2, well, you all know what CO2, the name of it is. This is the reason it's what it is. We look at the compound, it has 2 elements. Is the first element hydrogen? No. Is it a metal? No. Is it a non-metal? I could write it. Yes. Carbon is a non-metal. How do I decide that it's a non-metal? I've looked at the periodic table. Anything to the right of the stair step, anything to the right of the stair step is a non-metal. We're going to just arbitrarily say, if it's to the right, we're going to treat it like a non-metal. If it's to the left, we'll treat it like a metal. So everything to the right is a non-metal. So carbon is to the right of the stair step, so we say carbon. Not carbide, carbon. And then we say oxygen, or oxide. Oxide. And then we have to put a prefix, no matter what, a prefix has to go there. We do not put mono here to tell us we have 1 carbon. 1 is an ordinary, normal thing. So we don't put a prefix to say there are 1 carbon. We just leave that blank. It's understood to be 1. So carbon dioxide. All right? CO. Now CO, carbon is, we look at the thing, is the first one a hydrogen? No. Is the first one a metal? No. Is it a non-metal? Yes. So we're going to say carbon. We are not going to put anything here, and then we've got oxide. And we always have to put something here, so it's monoxide. And we leave the O off. We don't put M-O-N-O-O-I-D-E. We put M-O-N, just like your English teachers tell you with a prefix. If it ends in a vowel and the root word begins with a vowel, you normally leave off the vowel on the prefix. Doesn't always, isn't 100% sure that way in chemistry, but it is a lot of the time. All right, let's do another. All right, P2O5. All right, P2O5. Does the thing start with hydrogen? No. Is it a metal? No. Is it a non-metal? Yes. Since it's a non-metal, we look it up on the where? Where do we look it up? The periodic table. Periodic table says that's phosphorus. Now, we may need a prefix. If it has more than one, we need a prefix. And since there is more than one, we put di. And then we have oxide, and it always has a prefix, and it's pentoxide. All right? So, diphosphorus pentoxide. Now, we turn around and do this a different way, and we have nitrogen and monoxide. All right? Nitrogen, monoxide. So we would say N-O. No. We would say N-O, no. So let's do a couple of mixed up examples. We have PBSE. No, PBS. 2. The question you ask yourself, does it start with hydrogen? No. Does it start with a metal? Yep, it starts with a metal. Lead is a metal. Look on your periodic table to determine it's a metal. Lead is a metal. What's the charge of lead? +2 or +4. So I've got to decide which one it is. S has a what charge on your yellow sheet? And there are 2 of them. It has to equal 0. Now, we don't worry about this when we have nonmetals. Did I put any numbers above the nonmetals? No, I didn't put any numbers above the nonmetals. I did above the acids, but I did not above the nonmetals. Nonmetals, the prefix tells me what to do. I don't have to worry about doing that equal 0 thingy. I only have to worry about that, the equal 0 thing for metals and acids. So that's a total -4, so I need a +4. So that's going to be lead, 4, sulfide. Okay. So that tells you how to do that. All right, so you have to complete number 1 through 61 by Wednesday. This is the video for 1 through 61. Now, if you finish up early, go and look for other examples in the rest of the packet. Then you can go ahead and do those. If you want to continue, you can use this, and you can read this, and you can learn how to do every single one of them. None of them are really, really hard. But you have to read what it says to do and understand what it says to do, and you have to learn what it says to do. All right. So I'm gonna stop here and let you get to work on your packet.